New York Knicks rumors are heating up as Mikal Bridges is in contact with a former teammate and very good friend of his in Devin Booker, who has been the subject of a lot of trade rumors recently, with the Phoenix Suns struggling to put a contender around Booker, and Bridges is not the only one, as multiple other people within the New York Knicks organization would love to have Devin Booker on their team with multiple close connections with Booker, and we are going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're part of that 65% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, this is the place to be for all New York Knicks content. We have a bunch of fun videos planned, a bunch of other good stuff happening. I will get back to the live streams in a couple weeks, just a really busy time right now, but we will get on with all that stuff, plus a bunch more, so you guys do not want to miss out. But let's jump into the video because we have a lot to discuss. Mikal Bridges, who was recently acquired by the New York Knicks last offseason, is now in contact with a former teammate and very close friend of his in Devin Booker. Now, Bridges and Booker obviously played together on the Phoenix Suns for multiple years, and Bridges recently sat for an interview just discussing everything that went down throughout his NBA career, all the relationships that he has with these other NBA players. He's been on 3 different teams now, so obviously he has been traded twice before. He is an NBA veteran at this point, and he does have a lot of interesting stories. And the Sporting News sat him down for an interview where Mikal Bridges did talk about Devin Booker and other former teammates as well. Now, Booker, obviously the subject of trade rumors, Bridges mentioned that he texted Ryan Arcidiacono not too long ago, Colin Gillespie when he started the past couple of games. Bridges said, I hit him up about stuff like that. Me being in Phoenix and playing with Devin Booker, who I'm close with, I talk to them and see how stuff is going over there. Well, if you're an NBA fan, you probably know how stuff is going over for Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. Not well. The Phoenix Suns, despite having Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Nick Richards, who I wanted the Knicks to acquire so badly, are really struggling to succeed. The team is basically built around a ton of scoring and not much else, and it's failing miserably as the Suns, as Booker put it, are failing to do all the little things, and it's more than just being able to score and the team they have around them. Essentially saying, yeah, our roster looks good, but it's all the little things that we're not able to do, and it is a redundant roster. I mean, the teammates, the trio of Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal is not ideal at all. And on top of that, Grayson Allen being your 4th best player is not great. And then Nick Richards is solid, but he's not going to be able to play an entire team's worth of defense, as he is a solid defender, but he's not an elite defender by any means who could just anchor an entire defense. And so the Suns have found themselves in a weird position. And eventually, Devin Booker is going to grow tired of it. Yes, they made the NBA Finals once, but we're going on that being 4 years ago, and since then, the Suns have had very little playoff success. They've had multiple disappointing exits since then, none more than when the Phoenix Suns were supposed to play the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals in 2022 and got beat by 40 points by the Dallas Mavericks, a team that Jalen Brunson was on, fun enough, as we all know. And since then, things have not gotten better for the Suns. They've struggled mightily to succeed. They made the Kevin Durant trade. That didn't help anything at all. They ended up stalling. I mean, last year they got bounced in 4 games by the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that the Suns were viewed as a good matchup for the Timberwolves, but they failed again. And then just since then, things have not gotten better for the Suns, who have basically been carried by Booker and Durant entirely, where the rest of the team has just failed to pick up the slack around them. Booker is going to get sick of things. I mean, Kevin Durant is a major trade candidate over this offseason. It's widely expected that he is going to get moved somewhere, and he said the whole reason why he didn't want to get traded at the deadline is that he didn't want to get traded midseason again like he was when Brooklyn traded him to the Phoenix Suns, so he would rather be traded in the offseason, something that he's widely expected to be. And when Devin Booker looks around there and there's basically no one left from that NBA Finals team, he's the last guy who started on that Finals team, still there, he's probably going to want to trade too, as things have not gotten better since that Finals team was disbanded. So I imagine Devin Booker is going to request a trade either in this offseason or the next one, and Mikal Bridges being in contact with Devin Booker is huge, but Bridges, as I mentioned, is not the only one. Now, given Bridges and Booker have had a lot of success together, which is a good sign already, as Booker is 100, and Booker and Bridges are 172 and 127 together when playing throughout their career. So they had success. They were part of that Phoenix Suns team that was able to turn around after the dark ages for them, or one of the dark age periods for them. So the Suns were able to get back, and then obviously Mikal, who was on the Suns and played very well for the Suns, was a perfect 3rd best player for that team, ended up getting moved in the Kevin Durant deal along with Cameron Johnson, as we know. And then the Brooklyn Nets kind of stalled out. They did make the playoffs that year because of the success they had, and Bridges honestly didn't play too well, but they got bounced in 4 games by the 76ers, and the Phoenix Suns, they didn't see much success either. So things, again, just kind of stalled out for the Phoenix Suns, who have really struggled to find any sort of just success or stability since they made the NBA Finals. Things have only been on a downhill turn, and it really cultivated with now they're barely a play-in team and might not even make the play-in. They will, but they're barely a play-in team and very likely could miss the playoffs. I find it hard to bet against Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in a one-game setting, but it's very possible that it happens as the team around them has just not been successful. Now, Booker has been great. There's no doubt about it. He's been a phenomenal player, putting up 26 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. His shooting numbers are a bit down. He's only shooting 46% from the field and 35% from 3, and he's shooting 36.5% on corner threes. So the numbers are down a little bit from what they usually are, but he's still one of the best players in the NBA. To say his numbers are down when he's putting up 26 and 7 is incredible. Jalen Brunson does this at higher efficiency, but Brunson's numbers are fairly similar to these. So you look at Devin Booker and you understand he is one of basketball's best players, and he's an excellent player. And as I mentioned, he has more friends within the Knicks organization than just Mikal Bridges. It does not start at Mikal Bridges, and Bridges actually might be the weakest link between all these friends that Devin Booker has who wear New York Knicks jerseys. Now, Bridges himself puts up 17.7 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. He's been very good since Jalen Brunson was down with the injury, averaging over 21 points per game, shooting 50% from the field and 35% from 3, 42% on corner threes. He's having a good season. It's just if you forget about the 5 first-round picks the Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges, which I understand is difficult to do and it's asking to kind of do something a little absurd, you do see Bridges as an 18-point per game scorer, shooting 50 and 35 from the field, also hitting his corner threes and playing good defense. It's a pretty good season out of Mikal, and he's been a solid third-best player for the New York Knicks. And at times he's not the third-best player. Sometimes it's Josh Hart, sometimes it's OG. It's the way this Knicks team works, and if they could figure it out, it would be really, really successful. But if they opt not to, well, there are a bunch of guys who would love to have Devin Booker on the team, and Devin Booker has even spoken about his friendships with a New York Knick. After the Knicks lost to the Phoenix Suns this season, Devin Booker talked about his friendship with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, as the three of them are close friends. And they all wanted to play together on the Timberwolves. It felt like it was going to happen for a moment. Didn't end up happening. And Devin said, our friendship is super important. Watching Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell from the grassroots age just to prosper and continue to grow, those are guys I can always lean on for anything. And our relationship is super important to me. And Towns, like Booker, a true NBA superstar, putting up 24.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, while also getting 1 steal per game, shooting 52.5% from the field and 42.5% from 3. Karl Anthony Towns has been phenomenal with the New York Knicks this season. It's shocking to believe he's here. But Towns, he was rumored to be going to the Knicks for a long time. He was someone who very often stayed in trade talks and stayed in trade rumors around the New York Knicks. Since Leon Rose took over, there's really been 3 guys whose names have floated around a lot with the New York Knicks, and those are Karl Anthony Towns, obviously Donovan Mitchell, and those rumors are really dead for the first time in, 5-6 years? And Devin Booker. Now, Booker and Towns are very close friends, and the initial plan A for the Knicks felt like Leon wanted to stack up draft assets and then trade them all for Donovan Mitchell and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, that didn't happen. The Knicks instead opted for Jalen Brunson in free agency and then still tried to trade for Donovan Mitchell, but didn't end up doing it, as it would have costed them just enough, and the Knicks pulled out at the 28th hour. So you find where they are now. They're probably better off than they didn't trade for Donovan. It would have been a lot of assets. It would have been very redundant between Brunson and Mitchell in the backcourt, and then also trading for Towns. That defense would have not been very good. So I do think the Knicks are better off not trading for Mitchell, and it worked out for the Cavs as well, who got Donovan, and now he's one of the best. He is the best player on that team, and they're the first seed. So there's a lot to like about how that worked out for everyone, I guess. But you look at Devin Booker and Karl Anthony Towns, and they share an agent, and it's not like it's some major agent who's got half the NBA in their pocket. Nope. She has 3 people. Devin Booker, Mike Conley, and Karl Anthony Towns. And interestingly enough, which agency could she just maybe work for? That's Jalen Brunson getting injured. That's not the right photo. Neither is that. Well, she works for Leon Rose, or worked for Leon Rose, as I just screwed up multiple times on the road to get here, and you guys probably knew who it was, but it's Leon Rose. Obviously, it's CAA. Leon Rose ran CAA before he ran the New York Knicks. And when he ran CAA, he represented Devin Booker, and he represented Karl Anthony Towns, and much more. He was a super agent. It wasn't just a few guys. It was a bunch of people. Leon Rose was an NBA super agent who decided to take on the job of fixing the New York Knicks. And if you ask me, he's done a pretty damn good job. One of the things he's always wanted to accomplish was getting Devin Booker in a New York Knicks uniform. Now, did that happen? No. But could it pivot to that happening? Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's going to be easy for the Knicks to trade for Devin Booker. They don't have a ton of draft picks, and at the same time, it's not like they have a bunch of contracts to trade either. Likely to get Devin Booker, you might have to move Mikal Bridges, and that makes things pretty weird because you think, oh, would Leon Rose break up a sort of like a friendship, a chemistry thing like that by moving Mikal Bridges, who would bridge the gap between, no pun intended, between Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, the Nova guys, and Karl Anthony Towns, and everyone just kind of meshing together and having a great time? Well, maybe in a way. But Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns already have great chemistry, so that's not something they're going to have to rush to do or something like that. But he could bridge the gap for them with Devin Booker, which would be huge. And then everyone could be all friends, and yay, because they'd have to trade OG Anunoby, I guess, in that way, which isn't an ideal scenario because OG's the best defender on the Knicks, or the second best, depending on if you value Mitch or OG's defense higher. So it does make things a little bit interesting. However, yes, Leon Rose is absolutely willing to break up the chemistry if it makes the Knicks better. I mean, did we not just see what happened when Karl Anthony Towns got traded to the Knicks for Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo? Julius was beloved by his teammates, and Donte DiVincenzo was part of the Nova Knicks. So yes, Leon Rose is not afraid to break up chemistry if he thinks the Knicks are going to be better off in the long run. So we could expect, well, really, we can expect the unexpected with Leon Rose, because who saw that one coming? Well, actually me, because I did say it on a live stream 3 hours before, but that's beside the point. Look, before I knew it was happening, I would never have expected that to happen. I knew the trade was happening. I didn't know who was involved. I was able to figure out it was Julius and Towns on my own volition. I had no idea it was Donte DiVincenzo. That took me by surprise. Who would have expected that? Not me. No one. Nobody would have ever thought that Donte DiVincenzo was going to get traded off the New York Knicks. Did you really think that this was going to end without a single game happening? Let me unfold this shirt real quick. We never even got to see a game of the Nova Knicks. We didn't see one. Why? Because Leon Rose saw the best way to get rid of Julius Randle's contract before it expired, and he would have asked for much more or just walked in free agency, which meant he had to do what was best for the Knicks, which unfortunately involved trading Donte. And if the Knicks, the best thing for them is unfortunately trading Mikal to get his friend in Devin Booker, Leon's got no problem doing that. Do I think he's going to? Not really. Is it possible? Absolutely. Also, he traded Cam Reddish for Josh Hart. And Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett are friends, given much different situation. I understand. But I'm just mentioning. He's got no problem breaking up friendships on teams in order to make the team better. It's the agent mindset. Guys, this was a really long video. I hope you all enjoyed. Kind of stuttered right there. Hit the wrong button a few times. But we made it to the end. Thank you so much for subscribing. We're real. If you did. If you didn't, well, please do. I was going to give a longer outro. Who cares, though? Have a great day and go Knicks. Like, subscribe. You know the deal.